What up, everybody? I'm Jay the Kid, and y'all already know if y'all have been paying attention to the show the last couple days and everything. We've been talking about a special guest, and pretty much if you've seen social media, our social media page has told y'all exactly who this is. But this is another episode of Four Ropes Full Podcast, and today we got our man's Jake St. Patrick, the Jake of all trades. Might I just say, that is one of the cleanest monikers that I've heard. Like it's a lot that people put into it. Like they try to be too clever and too witty with like using power and speed and everything. It is simple, but it's also cold the way you interpret like your name as well as the catchphrase. So I just want to start off by saying that is fire.
I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of people like that, but again, I used to call myself a jack of all trades because I'm able to do a lot of stuff, but I'm like, nah, I'm the jack of all trades. And you make sure you better get that right. If you say
Mm,
jack, I'm gonna correct you.
see, hey, that That being said, I want to get into the start of your wrestling career. So we're gonna start the first segment off with life of a professional wrestler. The choices
Okay,
that you
I
made.
like the little thing across the screen. I like that. That's fire.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that. Um, so I want to talk about the insights of wrestling. I know a lot of people, ask you how you got into wrestling, but I want to ask you questions about when you got into wrestling. I want to get into first the professional career before we talk about what inspired you.
Okay.
What would you say was the main key component that made you stick to it during your training?
Can we swear on here? Can we curse a little bit?
Say what you got to say, man.
Man, I love this shit, bro.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I love professional wrestling. I've loved it since before I could say words. I just didn't know I loved it before I could say words.
Right.
So how I started was there was this promotion. It's called Zero One USA. Uh, they run mainly in Mattoon now. And what's crazy is they were running shows in Mattoon when I was attending college at East Illinois University, and I would see their flyers up. But I never went to a show because I'm in college, I'm in a fraternity, I'm surrounded by women. Yeah, I got distracted. But anyway, so
Nah, I
after I
feel you.
graduated, so after I graduated college, and I finally moved back home to Champaign, my cousin has said that there's this wrestling show that be happening every other week around the corner from our grandma's crib. So lo and behold, it was 0 1, same promotion that was running shows in Mattoon when I was in college. So I went to the building that they ran shows in. I got connected to my first trainer, Bear St. Pierre, and let's just say the rest is history.
Hey, I mean, hmm, getting into a little bit more of things, I want to talk about what was what do you feel is the most underrated thing that doesn't get talked about when it comes to professional wrestling?
Hmm. Nah, selling gets talked about quite a bit, but that's because of the old heads or old schools.
Hmm.
I consider myself one of them because I feel like selling is, and they say these exact words, selling is a lost art. So I can't say that that doesn't get talked about enough. What doesn't get talked about? Politics. Let's go with that. The politics don't really get talked about enough. Like some people are starting to shed light on politics behind professional wrestling. And yes, there's politics and everything, but yeah, in wrestling it's bad. Like some guys or girls can literally politic their way into you yourself not getting the championship or not getting a push.
Yeah, nah. I definitely can understand why that would be an underrated thing, just because with professional wrestling, it's so much that goes on from it that people mainly look at the in the ring stuff, which is fine. I
Hmm.
mean, that's mainly the stuff that you're going to be having your eyes on, anyways. But nobody understands the backstage politic. There's a lot of things that you control with so much, with just your words backstage. If you're a
Hmm.
vet and you're talking about a rookie, your praise or your disapproval of that person could either skyrocket or take their career back to the start. And some people just don't respect the politics because they believe that this it's not two-sided. It's basically what you see in the ring is what you see. If a guy is putting on if the guy is basically in the main event, he's considered the top guy. But nobody's worried about the younger youth guys, and nobody's talking about the vets that are in the middle that's putting on these great matches, because they just feel like based off of what people see booking wise is what you see. Like it's always room for like, I can't explain it off the top of my tongue, but it's like I feel like you understand a bit what I'm saying and what I'm going with that.
Yeah, I definitely get it. Like you're saying, some young guy or girl can get pushed simply because of how they look, or because they're boyfriend or girlfriend to somebody, or they're someone's nephew, son, granddaughter, niece, something like that. Always, all of that stuff plays factors into it. Whether it could be the promoter or the owner or the booker uh, is friends with this person or that person. Yeah, backstage politics can be very, very clicky.
I 1,000% agree with that. But since we was talking about when you started getting into wrestling and everything, what was that first wrestling match that really sold you into making this something that you love and possibly want to make your career into?
uh, Royal Rumble 1991, the opening match: Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, the Rockers, versus the Orient Express, Kato and Pat Tanaka, with Mr. Fuji as their manager. That was the first match that I actually watched in detail, and from that moment on, I was sold. And I was 5 years old when I first saw
You see, I love that you know exactly the match, you know when it happened and everything, because I'm the same way. The
that.
first match that I saw was Jeff Hardy Undertaker Raw. It was the ladder match for the WWE
For the title,
Championship at that time.
yep, for the undisputed championship, yep.
And
Big Evil,
hmm Big
that's my
Evil,
favorite
Big
Undertaker.
Evil. You know, we gonna have to have a conversation about that too. Cause 2007 Undertaker is my guy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I feel like 2007 to like 2012, maybe that was the best Undertaker for me personally. But then again, I'm born in '99, so it's like,
Yeah, see, I was already
see,
99.
see that.
I was a grown man in 99.
See, that's why I'm like, that's the take I took apart. But I mean, Big Evil Undertaker with that chopper coming down is just, I can understand why that's a good one for everybody. But Jeff
Yeah, see,
Hardy,
you came when Taker was going into American Badass. That's when you came around.
yeah, nah, that's the one I caught. I caught the one where Undertaker basically was it was right before, who lit him up on fire in that casket or something like that. I forgot what happened, but Undertaker came back completely different. He had just dropped the
It was Kane.
see, yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. It was he had I guess beat up the Undertaker. Undertaker went away for a little bit and then he debuted again with that dark menacing Undertaker again. The dead dude.
With the short hair.
Mm-hmm.
It was like right here.
Yeah, Undertaker had the bob.
I remember. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah. That was one of the matches that made me go like, I love this. I want to be able to be a part of this any way that I can. So that was my
Hmm.
insight into wrestling. But I want to also talk about professionally in wrestling, who are some guys that now that make that like impress you when it comes into the landscape of how wrestling is? Who do you feel has the full package right now in professional wrestling?
Jacob Fatu is the first name that sticks out to me.
For sure. For sure.
That's the first name that popped into my head was Jacob Fatu. That's my boy right there. Um, who else has it? Roman has it now. Roman definitely has it now. Uh, who just gets it? Uh, oh, he has a new name. It ain't Ricky Starks no more. It's Ricky Saints. Um, he yes, that boy got it. That boy got it. Yeah, those are the three that pop out to me. Um, yeah, I mean, I can name more guys, but yeah, those are the three that probably stand out the most. Those are probably the first three names popping in my head is yeah, Jacob, Roman, and Ricky Saints now.
You know, I'm very, you know, when it comes to it, I've always been 50-50 on Roman Reigns. It's mainly because I couldn't blame him for the stuff that they was doing to him at the time, making him wear blue contact lenses, making him try to look like a sweetheart and everything. I wasn't the biggest fan of that, but I was a big fan of how once they finally was like, you know what, Roman, it's on you now. Whatever you
No,
want to do,
once they put him with Paul,
like
that was it right there. I knew as soon as they
once.
put him with Paul, oh yeah. As soon as they put him with Heyman, I was like, oh yeah, we got something.
And the thing is, it just worked so naturally. It didn't feel awkward at all. It didn't feel like they was just learning to try to work with each other on some Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman type of stuff, some CM Punk and Heyman stuff. It literally was, I'm gonna do the bad guy stuff. I can talk my shit too now. But
Mm-hmm.
to have somebody advise me on my plans and how things can work if I do it these ways, somebody who knows they way around WWE, know they
Mm-hmm.
way around just promotional, the business itself, how to make money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
You team
Exactly.
you team them two up together, dominance.
Magic. Magic.
Like it's not too like it's a few that you can put in conversation for the best superstar and manager duo of all time. But after all of this is said and done, I think Roman and Paul Heyman goes number one in my personal opinion.
Yes.
When it comes in
Mm-hmm.
wrestling history, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Jimmy Hart and Hogan are up there. Uh, yeah, Jimmy Hart and Hogan is probably the superstars. Uh, I mean, I guess you could put Heenan and Flair really didn't last too long. Yeah, the only one I can think of is Jimmy Hart and Hogan.
Eh, I mean, it's a pretty open and shut type of conversation when it comes
I
to
mean,
it because
you
there's
could
not
you
too
I
many.
guess you could kind of do Elizabeth and Macho, but she really didn't. You
I,
know,
I mean, she was there and
Sherry and
maybe as a
Macho,
partner. It's like, but I would
Sherry and
put
Macho, but again, that didn't last too long. Sherry and Sean, but that didn't last too long.
yeah, during that time, really, when it comes down to it, like it's a lot of errors, and it's a lot of errors that had like that behind the scene guy plus the superstar collaboration thing that
Hmm.
worked, but it just never really worked out. Like I can't think of me personally, just because I mean, of course, you can say Paul Bearer and Undertaker.
And
You can say,
Taker, yep.
yeah, Paul Bearer and
I
Kane.
don't know why I didn't think of that one.
Hey, I mean, you know, it's like really like those guys are just like when you think about they key moments, you don't really think about Paul Bearer being by their side. When you think of the debut, you think about Paul Bearer being there. But career wise and everything, they most of they most interesting stuff came when the Paul Bearer was in the background. Like when he came out with those guys, you knew they was gonna be on business. But other than that, they really didn't need him. I mean, I guess Kane kind of needed him when he had the cigarette smoker voice, but
Hmm.
other
Hmm.
than that, I mean, those guys pretty much just basically took off from there. So it's like
Yeah.
I can see if people do end up not thinking about Paul Bearer and Taker and Kane as much, just because I mean, other
I
than
feel I feel like I
yeah,
feel like that was a I'm going to show you the ropes, and then once I show you, it's time for you to leave the nest type of
approach.
relationship. It's like Paul's gonna show him how to do it, and then once Paul thinks you got it, all right, you don't need me no more. Let me go over here. So I can see that.
Yeah. Hmm. You know, actually, this is the perfect time to get off topic and go into another little segment I got for you. I'm gonna
Okay.
have you blind rank matches from WWE, from Ring of Honor, from TNA. You are going to go from 1 through 10 on these matches to see exactly where they're going to go. So I'm just going to name off a match. You just rank it for me.
Okay. So like one being bad, 10 being the best, or
Yep.
like I would rank this number one match. I rank this match right below it. Like how is the rankings going?
So I'm gonna list off 5 matches, and you gonna give me basically 1 through 10 on how you feel
Okay.
about the match. So it's like a
Okay.
personal ranking opinion.
Okay. Okay. Hey, don't nobody get offended. I'm sorry.
Hey, one thing we say on this show: if you don't like it, too damn bad. I said
Hey,
what I
that's
said. That you got your opinions, we got our opinions. You don't like it, voice it in the comments on what you would rank.
all right. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Bet. So I'm gonna start off with TNA. I'm gonna start off with Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle. Triple threat match. I believe it was around 2011. Just a
10,
random TNA wrestling show too.
10. That matches. Did you not hear the names that you? But names alone, I like. Yes, I saw the match,
Hmm.
and me being a worker, I can tell that there was some. Ooh, was that supposed to happen, or was that supposed to happen right there? I could tell, but because of who was in that ring, they made it look flawless and effortless. So
Yeah.
again, just by names alone, I was gonna give it a 10. But because of how that like what happened in that match and how it happened, and I was oh yeah, like these boys going at it.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'll definitely get that match a 10.
Okay. Respect. Respect. We gonna take it to a woman's match now. We are gonna take it to Sasha Banks versus Bailey NXT Takeover Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yep, 10. Yep, that's a 10, boy. I watched that one live. Yep, they had that building shaking.
That is probably one of the most impressive aspects that honestly made me look into independent wrestling a little bit more because, as you know, I mean, NXT was only showing for real on the WWE network. And at the time, I was in school. So, I have enough money to really, get these subscriptions and everything. So,
Hmm.
I didn't get a chance to see NXT Brooklyn when it first happened. But when WWE started putting this stuff on their YouTube channels, I got a chance to look back at that,
Hmm.
and it was such a impressive aspect of it. I thought WWE started doing independent shows. I'm like this is what WWE doing out here for independent stuff, and then I just ended up learning about all of these other wrestling companies. I
Hmm.
found out about Ring of Honor. I found out about TNA. I found out about IPW wrestling just this year, but it's just making me enjoy that feel of finding promotions and finding stories about wrestling that makes people love it so much. And to see that match right there got a lot of younger women into wanting to get into wrestling, like Bailey's number one fan, Izzy. She's getting
Is he?
into the
Yep.
professional
Yep.
wrestling
I
world.
just I just met her a couple weeks ago.
It's just like that makes like so much like feels of wrestling can change a culture because wrestling is the culture. For the longest time, it's been you had to not like you can't say it out loud because it'd be weird to most people. Like you still watch
Mhm.
wrestling. It's like
Mhm.
now it's to the point where people who are not wrestling fans are buying wrestling merch
Mhm.
because it looks cool and like the culture is you like these guys. These are the top guys. You got the people who love the faces. You got people who love the heels. You got just everything all coming back upscale like to the
Yes,
scene
it.
again. And it makes me feel like independent wrestling should be able to get a bigger boost in fans and every in popularity because so much wrestling is going on in the world now that WWE ain't gonna be able to come everywhere, but now you got these other promotions that's willing to put on shows in your city. So now you're able to just basically now go see and catch different eyes on this stuff. And if you catch a match in the independence that sticks on you, now that match is what's going to put you into a connection and wanting to look at that company a little bit more or look at that specific wrestler and see how he does everything, how he plans to go to wherever he wants to go. If he wants to go to
Mhm.
WWE or AEW, New Japan, there's so many other options where you can get seen now
Mhm.
that you just don't have the same one option. Everybody one option was WWE. But now there's so many other brands that will put you on spots on television. NWA, might I add.
I will say
It's
this though. I will say this. Most people, and they'll say I can't speak for them. Most people who get in this business grew up on WWE or WCW, some way, shape, form, or fashion. Right? They
right.
didn't. They didn't grow up. They didn't grow up watching every Ring of Honor episode. They didn't grow up watching every New Japan episode. Stop lying. That's cap. Everybody who grew up watching wrestling grew up watching WWE or WCW if you're from, if you're around my age range. Uh, but the younger generations, yeah, you did not watch New Japan religiously. You did not watch Ring of Honor religiously. Stop the cap. You
At
watched
all.
WWE religiously because that
At,
was literally the only thing on. WWE had already purchased WCW and ECW. There was no other competition.
yeah,
So
nah.
yes, Ring of Honor was around. Yeah, yeah, New Japan and All Japan was around. Yeah, but can't nobody sit here and say with a straight face, take a lie detector test and pass a lie detector test saying that they watch Ring of Honor religiously or they watch New Japan religiously.
Okay.
Nah,
I think too.
everybody wanted to be in WWE at some point. Maybe not now, but at some point, if you wanted to be a wrestler, you wanted to go to WWE. May not be now because maybe you've worked there before, maybe you see the ins and outs or whatever the case may be. But no, my goal is still WWE. That's my
And,
goal. That
and
should
I
be everybody's goal.
and that's I feel like that's everybody, like you said, that is everybody's goal. Everybody's
Mm,
goal is to get to the place that made them get into wrestling. and
exactly.
and although as WCW, like you said, is no longer there anymore because it's already been consumed in with the WWE history, but you all of that history and everything like that, anybody who says they saw it and got into wrestling but that's not what they want it to be, you're lying to yourself because
Yep.
there's no way in hell. Me not having a lick of professional wrestling e- experience when it comes to professional wrestling. If WWE called me and said, "Hey, you want to take a bump on TV?" You better believe I'm gonna get the same spirit that Speed got. I don't give a damn. Like I
Hmm.
that is the thing I want more in this world is to get a chance to see it. But if I ever get a chance to actually do it, you think I'm gonna turn it
Hmm.
down because I'm like, nah, I really want to see what this company's about, like in the independent scenes too. No, I'm going to want to get to WWE. So anybody who says they don't care about that type of stuff, stop lying to yourself.
Yep.
We too old to be
Stop
lying.
cap. Stop the cap.
Like we too old to be lying right now. Come on now. Let's if we gonna be anything in this world, let's be real.
Hmm.
But getting back into it, I think we still got three more matches. So I'm gonna go
Okay.
to Kane, Undertaker Inferno match.
I give that. I give that an 8.
Fair, fair. I wouldn't have.
Reason why, reason why is because I feel like the Vader interference wasn't necessary,
Fair enough.
and that would probably be the only reason why. Because that was a good match, but again, having an Inferno match can limit you to things. It can definitely limit you.
Oh, 1,000%.
Uh, so yeah, I get that an 8. It was still a good match because of like the things that they were able to pull off. The freaking Undertaker dive over the top rope. Oh my god! Every time I see him do it, it's great. It's fantastic. But again, just I feel like Vader being involved took away a little bit.
You know, that's fair, honestly. Me not being born during it, but actually, I had the WWE games and I saw that that was one of the matches in the Attitude Era mode. And I was like, this really took place. But you know, in the video games, trying to reenact it, you ain't gonna get the same effects of what it used to look like. So I went back and
Yeah.
watched it. And when I say Undertaker jumping over fire, probably top 10 toughest photos of all time. Like
Oh
you
yeah.
can get
Oh
that
oh
framed.
yes.
You can get
Yes.
that framed. That is fire right there.
That is a Mona Lisa. I don't care what nobody say. That is that man.
It's
That
not too
shot.
many photos that you frame or you put up and save for wrestling history. But Undertaker at least got five of them himself.
Yep. You absolutely right.
Um, hmm. Let's see. We got
All right, we got two more matches.
two more. Two more. I'm gonna give it to another women's match that I had to go back and watch from TNA though. We gonna do Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong.
Ooh, yep. I, as soon as you said Gail Kim, I was like, you better say Awesome Kong after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I give that match. I give that match a 9. And the reason why it doesn't get a 10 is
hmm
because again, going back watching it, me being a worker, I can
hmm
tell there were some things that were either forgotten or there was just some type of miscommunication. I could tell. Now again, Gail and Awesome can cover that up, but again, me being a worker, I can tell there was a couple little ooh, oh, you feel me? So
hmm
I get that one a 9.
Okay, okay, I can respect that. Honestly, I mean that's still pretty high for that match. I me if you would ask me when I first saw the match when I was younger, I probably would have told you that it was just because I wasn't really that into women's wrestling, but that was one hell of a match. Even when I was 12 and I found that match out, I was like,
Hmm.
damn. I was like, most girls be having slap fights and shit like that from what I used to see, but like women actually wrestling, that is what put me on the ropes for like wanting to watch TNA wrestling. Even when Hulk Hogan took over, it wasn't the best women's wrestling matches, but it was still something there,
Hmm.
and
And
seeing
get
Gail Kim being as small as she was, taking belt to ass from Awesome Kong, it felt like hours I was watching her get tossed around. But it felt like the times when Gail Kim got her pop when she was kicking Awesome Kong ass, especially with most of her chops and
hmm
her high flying work. You ask me that right now, I would say it's between 9 and a 9.5. So that's still fair. Like your
hmm
nine is still pretty granted. But number one, personally, my second favorite match of all time, just because I was born the day of this match. I wasn't born at the same time of the match, but I was born the same time this match got happened. The Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian, 1999.
The ladder match, no
Ladder
mercy.
match. hmm I was born October 17th, 1999, the day that match happened.
10, 10. They
Mm.
revolutionized it. They revolutionized a match, a tag team ladder match. And then that kind of gave birth to that. Pretty much is what gave birth to TLC. Little did we
Hmm.
know that was that that tag team ladder match was TLC being what do they call it? The that was like the birthing of the TLC. That tag team ladder match definitely sparked the idea of TLC, even though the Dudleys weren't in that match.
Hmm.
But again, adding the element of the Dudleys, and then of course Edge and Christian getting the chairs with the concerto and all that stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, that tag team ladder match definitely revolutionized the business. So
That
10.
that is honestly, it's no wrong answer for that. It is. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you put in the comments that that match is anything under seven, you might have to come see about me. I ain't gonna lie
Nah,
to you.
that if that match is anything under a 8.5.
You heard it from the J. Call trades yourself. If it if it's underneath 8.5, you
you
got to
can't
pull up.
put that you can't put that below an 8.5. Like they put it in the game of No Mercy.
You if somebody says anything under 8.5, they trying to rage bait, or
Yeah,
they
yeah.
looking for one hell of a reaction, and you gonna get it from
Mm-hmm.
me personally.
Yep.
It's gonna work for me. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me hear somebody say that that wasn't a good match. You got my time. You got
Because
my
how
time.
dare you?
Exactly. But getting back into the aspect of wrestling and everything,
Mhm.
what what is what is a underrated wrestling move that you feel is slept on when it comes down to it that not too many guys do, but at least a few guys should add in their arsenal?
Give me that question one more time. I need that I need to run that back in my brain in depth.
I know you good, you good. What's a underrated wrestling move that you feel isn't utilized enough that you feel like not every guy should bring back so it doesn't get oversaturated, but let's say like a few guys that you could see using this move and into their move set.
Hmm. I mean, I see headlock. I mean, you don't see too much chain wrestling anymore. Um, but I always say it's good to know how to do it.
Hmm.
What is an underrated wrestling move that not too many people do anymore? Hmm. I don't know, Kevin. No one's just brought the power driver back.
Very, but not too many people can do that.
I mean, you're right, but if you know how to do it, Darius Carter,
Hmm.
he does a very good power driver. Yeah, guy on the Indies, Darius Carter. He does a very good power driver. Yeah, I don't. I guess it probably would have to be power driver because again, not too many people do it unless you're of course unless you're talking about the Canadian destroyer or whatever country insert here destroyer, the Italian destroyer, the Mexican destroyer, the Puerto Rican destroyer, the whatever destroyer.
Houston
I feel like that
Destroyer.
one. I feel like that one gets way overused.
I agree. It's
Um,
mainly because so many people, when it comes to the destroyer, it's it's almost like it's not a finishing part of the match. Like it's literally something just to stun the guy for a few seconds.
and I dislike that because if you get dropped on your head like that for real, you're probably going to be paralyzed. Um, but again, that goes back to selling as a lost art. PD Williams used that as a finish.
Yeah, and
What?
TN he had actually some of the toughest ones. I seen one where it was a guy where he where they basically flipped him through the destroyer, and basically like the dude like took one of the cleanest sails. I think he literally just got up, bounced back, and laid like it looked like the Mortal Kombat games, the first ones that came out where you just fall back after getting punched on. That's what it
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, I mean, hmm. when it comes down to it, who are some guys that you feel dead or alive that you could have a great match with? You can give, yeah, five, top five.
Shawn Michaels,
Good one.
Scott Hall, Mr. Perfect, AJ Styles. Whew, this five is tough. This fifth one is tough. This fifth one is tough. Because there's three names that stick out, and those three names are X Pac, Seth Rollins, and The Rock.
You know, I can't be mad at these three of them. I can't question it either. Just because some people might be like X Pac, but everybody forget X Pac at any point during his prime years of wrestling put on good ass matches. I
But
wasn't around
what?
for this, but you can put in that 1 2 3 Kid versus Scott Hall match. Well, Razor Ramon at that time. You could put almost anything when he left WWE for a little bit, when he did the TNA stuff for a little bit. He put on nice matches in the X division over there. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's a very underrated worker, I feel. Like a lot of guys like try to sleep on him because
Mm.
he was the dude that just came around just basically doing the chopping and everything. Like he
He was like the hype man.
yeah, like everybody thought think that he hyped Williams, but low key, like he was putting in some work too.
Hey, I'm gonna put it like this: that mid card from the mid to late '90s of WWE, man, man, I'm talking about Godfather, D'Lo, Mark Henry, X Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Kane, Val Venus,
Steve Blackman,
Boss Man, yeah, Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, uh, Triple H wasn't WWE champion at this time. Neither was The Rock. So
Test,
put them in there. Test. Well, I
A
guess when
Train a
Test
little bit.
came, yeah, I guess when TNA showed up, I guess The Rock and Triple H were in their world championship stages. But yeah, man, that mid card in them '90s, man. Ooh, those are some workers. Rikishi, too cool. Those are some workers, man.
Crash, Hardcore Holly.
Crash Hardcore. Yep, yep,
Like
yep. I
it's
actually
so
had a
many
match with
people.
Hardcore Holly.
Really?
Good dude. He was my tag team partner. Thank God.
I, oh Lord, man. I low key. You know what? We're gonna have you back on, and I want to talk a little bit more about this stuff. I want to talk a little bit more about maybe we do a reaction to some of your matches and everything, and just talk about them, about
Okay.
certain spots in the match and everything. So we gonna
Okay.
talk off. We gonna talk off the camera about this.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can definitely chop that up.
Okay, and then I want to get into when you step out there. What is the first thing that you feel the crowd goes off of? Do you feel like they go off of the music? Do they go off of the vibe you give when you come out there? Is it the attire, or is it all of that packed in? Because I feel like it's some wrestlers, they have a certain part that makes their entrance a little bit like, good, because Austin Theory in WWE, his little spotlight thing, that's what he's known for. When it comes
Hmm.
to AJ Styles, his entire entrance is what people get. Jay Uso, it's the entire aura, it's the music, it's the vibe,
Hmm.
it's everything. But then it's some guys that you be like, oh, okay, they music, all right, but they attire is fire. They always got some clean gear or whatever.
Man,
What do
yeah,
you
it's honestly to me it's the whole package because you can have a fired uh entrance theme and your gear could be whack and your entrance could be whack. I've seen it. You can have terrible music, fire gear, and a fire entrance, You can have good music, fire gear, terrible entrance. You can have good music, terrible gear, fire entrance. So to me, it's an accumulative of all of them. And like you said, like the vibe and the aura and the energy that you bring. So for example, my music that I have is custom music and it's very, very catchy. So like during the match, I would hear people literally like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I would hear them doing that during my match, and I'm like, yeah, you know the vibes. So for me personally, my interest music definitely gets the crowd into it, and then of course my energy when I come out. If I don't hear nothing when I come out, I'm like, hold on, y'all too quiet. Y'all need to get this up. Come on now, stop playing with your boy. You feel
Nah, I
me?
feel that.
So, but if the crowd already knows who I am and they hot, I don't got to do too much. But
And
it
that's
also,
it
it,
should
it
be.
depends on if you're a face or if you're a heel, depending on what type of character heel you're going to be or what type of character face you're going to be. Like when I'm heel, I talk ish to the crowd. Like I will grab your bag of popcorn and throw it at your baby. I will spit in your grandma's face. No, I will not do that for real. But I'm gonna talk stuff to get you to hate me.
Nah, I feel
Like
that.
and the thing is, I'm so good that you're gonna hate me and you're gonna hate the fact that you like me because I'm so good. It's like I hate him, but he's so good. That's what I want. If
I
I
like
get that
that.
reaction, that's what I want. That's if I'm a heel. Now, if I'm a face, I'm slapping hands, I'm kissing babies, I'm taking pictures, high fiving, all that stuff. So again, it just depends on your character and whether you're a face or a heel.
I can respect that. I can respect that. And I don't want to take up too much of your time and everything like that, but I do want to do one of my final segments. And
Okay.
you know, usually we do 20, but I'm gonna shorten it down to 5 because I want to get down to the nitty gritty. So I'm gonna ask you as many questions possible. We got
Sorry, can you repeat that? I got a phone
no,
call.
no, you all good. You all good. So we
You
got
said you
a
want to do five. What now?
we got a segment where we usually turn it into 20, but since we're gonna have you back on again, we're gonna finish this. But we're
Okay.
gonna do a 5 minute heat wave. Basically, within 5 minutes, I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions. Some of them might be about wrestling, some of them might just be about just fan stuff. And then some of this is gonna be to see if I like you as a person. But we got a lot in common from being Illinois boys, so I think we're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be all right with
Okay.
this. So whenever you're ready,
I'm ready. Let's go.
milk cereal or cereal milk.
First of all, I'm allergic to dairy, but it goes cereal milk.
See, that's all I needed to see. Anybody who do milk cereal, cereal milk, anybody who do that, I always say jail time because there's no way that you are measuring milk and then putting in cereal.
Mm-mm.
You
Cereal
can,
then milk.
it's illegal. What would you say is the main strive that you had when you got into the business, and what is it now?
Still the same thing. Get a WWE contract, become WWE Intercontinental Champion.
You know, I was actually just gonna ask you what was the best looking WWE title design, but I
Oh,
mean,
whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, not that
all
for
right, all right, I
that
see.
design for me is the white Intercontinental Championship belt.
Fair, fair. Again, not in my time when Cody Rhodes bought it back. I mean, I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool.
No, you should have seen it when Mr. Perfect and Ultimate Warrior had it. It was colors.
See, I remember like seeing like the little vignettes of it and everything like that.
Hmm.
The yellow by
Uh
far
huh.
was underrated. When he came out with that, I think he won the WWE title with that match. Was it like SummerSlam or something? I believe that he won it from Hulk
Hmm.
Hogan.
Hmm. And then
Clean attire, clean
he
looks.
turned the heavyweight belt purple.
Oh yeah,
The little
WWE
light
did
purple.
start selling that one. Okay,
Hmm.
okay. Hmm. Who would you say is a big man in wrestling that you feel you would have if you needed a bodyguard or a protector type of role behind you? Who would you feel that like that person would be?
during any era or currently.
Past, present, future, whichever one you want to do.
Kevin Nash slash Diesel.
You know, looking at just social media and everything like that, I've seen some of your promos and everything. And when you said Diesel, I can I can see it. It's like you got like a Shawn Michaels feel about you when it comes to it's not like you and the thing is like when I say that, I don't mean to like say it like, oh, you copying a swag or anything like that. But what I mean is you give off a feel of what Shawn Michaels was back then in the day. And it's like it's the swag to where it's like I'm gonna come out, I'm a vibe, and you ain't got no choice because whether you like me or hate me, you gonna vibe to what I'm bringing. You gonna
That's
vibe
it.
to every part of it.
That- That's it right there. Sean was like, I know I'm good. I know I'm the man. And whether you love me or hate me, you know I'm the man.
You
That's
like
it.
you gonna have some type of reaction when I come out to this ring, and like
Hmm.
that's when you said Diesel. That's exactly what I see. Okay, okay. Hmm. Who would you say was a underutilized champion in WWE? Past, present, or future as well. Who do you feel doesn't get the respect they got for holding the belt?
Hmm. Hmm. I'm going to go. There's two that stick out. There's two that stick out. Andrade as NXT champion and Shinsuke as US champion.
Which time?
This past time. Actually, honestly, Shinsuke's how many times has Shinsuke been US champion? Once
No, I think he's
or
been
twice?
twice. I don't know who he beat for. No, he beat Jeff Hardy for the belt, and then he lost it to R Truth on the SmackDown.
Hmm. That wasn't supposed to happen. But yeah, honestly I say both of Shinsuke's US title reigns, and Andrade's NXT championship reign. Yeah, I feel like they were very short lived and they don't get the attention because Andrade, when he won that NXT championship, that he got me.
Ok- Okay, okay, and pretty much we all done until I got one more thing for you though, and we call this one the burning question.
All right.
When you're all said and done in your wrestling career, and you look back when the Jake of all trades is no longer performing for crowds, being loved by many, being hated by the few, when all of that is all done and you put your boots up in a Hall of Fame somewhere, whether that be in an independent museum for wrestlers, whether it be in the WWE archives, when all of that's done and wrestling is just no more for you, who does Jake St. Patrick become? Who is the guy that he what does he bring into the wrestling world? What does he teach? What does he give forward? What does Jake St. Patrick do to make sure that wrestling remembers his name?
Well, you kind of segued it already. I want to be a coach at NXT. I'm already the assistant coach at Devon Dudley Academy. I got coaching experience under my belt, lots of it. So yeah, when I finally do hang up the when I do finally hang up the kick pads, yeah, coach at NXT.
I can respect that. It's just I can see that for you just because like you don't when you mention it like that's the goal and everything like that, it's like you don't make it seem cocky. It's like, oh, I don't need to like I'm going to there, like I'm gonna be there, but it's like the main goal is to get there. And the main goal once I get there is to stay there and give back to the thing that made me love what I was doing and what I'll continue to do. Be the
Hmm.
biggest supporter, be the biggest fan, and be the biggest the biggest impact on wrestling as it moves on and forward, because those people who become stars and then they talk about the aspect of what it takes to be trained by a professional wrestler and everything, they remember the guys that helped them take their bumps, help them, you know, move, like embrace the confidence, the ability to go out there and perform, the mental sides of wrestling that don't get talked about as much.
Hmm.
Somebody who can keep you calm while also trying to force, like, not forcefully, but nudge you into the comfortability of being like, "Oh, okay, that wasn't that bad. I can do this more. I can do this. I can take on this role that I was given." And being a trainer in WWE for the future of wrestling, I can respect that. So, but one more time, ladies and gentlemen, with an applause, we're gonna give it up for our man, Jake St. Patrick. Man,
Appreciate you, man.
where can we find you at, on social media and everything? Give us a few, promotions on things you'll be doing soon.
Okay,
How can we
so
keep-
my Instagram is Jake Jake dot or period St dot Patrick. Jake dot Saint dot Patrick. If it's the underscore Jake, that is not mine. That got hacked. So that's my Instagram. My Facebook is just Jake St. Patrick. You'll be able to find me. My what's called X now, not Twitter anymore. My X is Bangarang Jake. That is BANGERANG JAKE. Uh, Follow my YouTube channel. It's Jake St. Patrick Wrestling. I try to post my promos, my matches. I try to put all of them on there as quickly as I can. Uh, I will be in Vegas WrestleMania week and weekend. I'm going to be traveling to Reality of Wrestling at the end of May in Houston for Booker T. I am going to be at the Shamrock Cup at Maryland Championship Wrestling in July. Um, I wrestle pretty much almost every Monday for WWN Proving Ground, uh, Universal Championship Wrestling, the Establishment Wrestling, uh, Pro Wrestling Action as Heartbreak Jake. I'm trying to do a lot of things, man. I'm getting up there in the age, so I'm trying to do as much as I can while I can, while the neck, back, and knees is still, able to work the way I need them to. I don't heal like I used to. I tell everybody I used to heal like Wolverine. Now I heal like Logan. My claws don't come out on their own no more. I got to pull them out. So, but yeah, this year I'm trying to do as much traveling as I can because again, you never know when guys gonna be like, all right, time's up.
Nah, I feel that. I feel that. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for our man, Jake St. Patrick. We are definitely gonna have to get back up in here and definitely do a little bit more talking, a little bit more wrestling conversations and everything. So I know that people are gonna enjoy that. But one thing that we usually do with our podcast and everything, we always give our thanks. So we gonna thank you for wrestling, man. And we out.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you. Yes, sir.